Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This soap is called January Embers, and I decided to do a split technique with this one just because I don't know, I just had the idea. And I'm using a kind of like a pink yellow motif. This one is the banana boat yellow that I just got in my soap haul video, and I was curious to see how it would come out. And I've got Voodoo from Mad Micas and White Champagne, and then King Tut Gold for a little mica line. Okay, sorry about that. I was stumbling over my words, but basically in each layer I'm going to have a mica line in between, and you'll see what I mean when I get to that point. So anyway, same as usual, my hard oils are 125 degrees. I'm going to pour in my liquid oils to bring the temperature down, and it should be close to 80 to 90 degrees, which is a good temperature to have. And then once I add my fragrance oil and everything, it should be right where it needs to be. So yes, currently it's 88 degrees. And the fragrance oil I'm using for this is called Volcano. It's got its own kind of yellowish color, but it doesn't really affect the end product, so it's fine. But I think it only lowered it about a degree, but it's still good because it's between 80 and 90 degrees. So basically with this split design, what I'm doing is just doing a solid color, and the solid color is going to be white, and it's going to surround kind of a jagged spoon swirl. So if you've looked at my spoon swirl tutorial, I will link that in the card, and you'll see what I mean with the spoon swirl. But I really like the spoon swirl, but I feel like it's cooler when it's kind of an accent rather than the entire design. So that was kind of my purpose for doing this split design here. It really accentuates that spoon swirl. So what I did here was I weighed out about half to be the solid color, and then the remaining 3 colors that I wanted in the spoon swirl, because there's white in there too. So I just made sure that, I don't know, the calculation was a little bit complicated, and I may write it out in the description there. I mean, it's not that complicated, but it kind of is. So I wanted an equal amount of each 3 colors to have the spoon swirl, but then I wanted the majority of it to be the solid. And for this, I'm using my squeezy bottles, and I'm using to line them the little pillow packers that you get in packages. I just cut the end off, and I saw this as a tip in another video somewhere. I can't remember where. It's a long time ago, but it's really helpful for cleanup. The only thing I would say about it is that it does leave a lot of extra in the bag, so I have to pull the bag out and squeeze it out, which is fine because I usually have a little extra anyway that I pour into my molds, and so that's what I do here. But anyway, so I'm pouring my 3 colors that I'm doing the spoon swirl with into the squeezy bottles, so I can do it that way. Okay, so I wanted my layers to be kind of at an angle, so I did prop it up on my towel and poured my first layer at an angle. And so here's my powdered mica line that I was telling you about with the King Tut Gold mica. I probably used too much mica in retrospect, but it did end up looking pretty cool in the end. So here's my spoon swirl. This is my sloppy way of doing it. And this is so fun because all I do is I hold it from kind of a distance and I squeeze it hard and just zigzag it back and forth really fast, and it slops the color in there, but you do kind of have to have a little bit of precision here so that you're not getting soap all over your counter, and it does take practice, or if you want to take it slow, you can do it too, just as long as you're picking a fragrance or a recipe that moves slow enough that you can work slower. I mean, this recipe does move slow, and the fragrance does move slow, so I wasn't too worried about it, but I work really fast, and I just really like squeezing it out like this. It looks like ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise. Once I start getting to the end of the bottle, you'll see that it's just kind of spluttering out, which is also fine because in the end design, it doesn't, you're not looking at the top, you're looking at the side, so it's fine. I scraped the side here because I didn't want color to be on my solid portion on the side either. So I scraped it down first, and then I did my powdered mica line. And again, I think I put quite a bit in there, which I love this color. I should have ordered some more. I haven't, but anyway. So I try to clean this up as much as I can because the top layer I want to be as solid white as I possibly can make it. And I did try to keep it at an angle while I poured, but you also have to be pretty careful about this because you don't want it to break through the other layers. But at this point, the soap was getting a little thicker, so the soap swirl that was underneath, or the spoon swirl that was underneath, was firm enough to where I could basically, I mean, not dump it in there, but I didn't have to, like, you know, use my spatula as a guide or anything like that. But I tried to make this as smooth as possible after adding it in there. As you can see what I mean here, where I had to take the bag out and squeeze it out. But I really only did that for the actual main batch with the white color. The other colors I just used to have in my little small owl and bee bars. It was kind of a messy process because, like I said, I was squirting it out pretty quick, but it cleaned up pretty nice. And so here's my little owl molds, and I'm just going to squeeze out the red and the yellow from the squeeze bottles into those. But the way I process this as well is the same as I always do. I just put it in my old crock pot and let it sit on low for about 15 minutes, and then I turn it off and just let it sit until the next day, and it usually works out pretty great that way. Alright, so here's the final cut, and I just trim off a little bit on either side so I can make for samples, but this one doesn't have to be cut any special way. You just cut it like you normally do, and in that miter box, again, each little finger is about 1 inch, and so I like to kind of make it just a touch over 1 inch. So my bar is 8 inches across, or my loaf is 8 inches across, and since I cut about 1/4 inch off each end, each bar ends up being roughly just 1.1 inches basically. I tried, so the mica line was smearing down the side, so I tried to cut it another way to prevent that, but I didn't realize that my cutter wasn't long enough to do that. So that second cut there, you could see that I was struggling with it, but it ended up being fine, just as long as you know, everything was trimmed off fine, and no harm, no foul. But I really like the way these came out, and after they were all cleaned up and the smears were taken away, they look pretty cool, and the mica line wasn't too much at all, so looks good to me. Alright, and here it is in all its glory. There's the ratios there. Yeah, so I like the way it really turned out, and they'll be available in early April for sale on my site. And if you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get early access. But please let me know what you thought, and just leave a comment. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. See ya.